10 o'clock. Welcome, you gorgeous, gorgeous people, to the 10 o'clock news with the EV Café. Well, not you. Hush. Now then, 30 minutes of what's happening in zero-emission transport with expert analysis from the very vocal Paul Kirby, Sam Clark, who's got a mug in his face, or maybe he is a mug, and the wonderful Ice Queen of Narnia, Sarah Sloman. Paul, are you well, my friend? He's gone.
Oh, quiet. Yes, sorry. I was just muting. I was just muting the live broadcast. Sorry, I'm
never stops talking, and then when you ask him a question, he says nothing. Unbelievable.
Said nothing. I was busy muting over on the other screen. But there we go. Yes, I'm well, thank you. Already had two helpful and insightful calls today already, so it's a good day.
And it's lovely to see Sam smiling so broadly at Paul's misfortune.
Standard.
You're right, mate.
Pretty much.
My week. Yeah. What a week. I feel like Christmas was a long, long time ago. Even New Year was a long, long time ago. It's bonkers. So we started the year as we finished the last, as busy as could be. So I guess nothing to complain about there, really.
Quite right. We're very privileged to be doing what we do. And Ice Queen, what are you all dressed up
Don't
for?
call me the Ice Queen, because that makes it sound like I love an internal combustion engine, which couldn't be further from the truth. And also, having been out on my motorbike yesterday, Ice Queen was the one. It was so cold, but definitely worth it. And I agree. Someone said, "How was your Christmas?" I was like, "Isn't that a month ago?" No, it wasn't a month ago.
And speaking of how freaking cold it is this morning, I'm at -7, Paul.
Oh, I haven't got a clue, but it's blooming cold. There's a lot of ice out there. I don't know. I didn't do the ice bath this morning, that was for sure.
You'd have to chip away at it. Young Sam, how are you doing?
Well,
Minus?
it's days like today when I looked out the window and every single vehicle was quite literally an ice block. And I just turned the heating on. So when I took my kids to school this morning, mine was the one car in the street that was nice and toasty, warm and melted. And I was like, yes.
And Sarah's quite clearly in about 25 degrees there, I reckon. She hasn't even got a vest on from what I can see.
I have not got a vest on, but it is a jacket.
Ready?
Let's move on.
The last time.
And plug into what's happening in zero-emission transport this week. And coming up, almost half of fleets have benefited from the switch to electric vehicles. Paul, we're coming to you for first comments there. 7 in 10 rural residents feel locked out of any form of EV transition. Sarah, I want you to kick off with that one. Chewell appoints former Mobilise Beyond Automotive UK Chief Operating Officer Chantal Shearing as Vice President of Product. And Sam, that's a charging story, so I'm going to come to you for that one. And then Auto Express, dear Lord above, what have they been on over Christmas and New Year? They encourage all of us to stop the fixation on electric cars and give alternative fuels like hydrogen a chance in 2025. We delve, it's going to be a bun fight. But first, every Friday is Bring a Friday. Is Bring a Friend
Bring
to
Friday.
Day. Bring a Friday to Friday Day. Let's start that
every
again.
week.
But first, every Friday is Bring a Friend to Work Day. So who will you invite to join the EV Café News next week? Throw the names in the comments and we'll invite them along too. In other news, great news for getting rid of congestion. Passengers will be able to get their hands on millions of train tickets at half price as part of the government's annual rail sale. It runs from the 14th to the 20th of January on selected advance and off-peak fares and will go on sale at up to 50% for travel between the 17th of Jan and 31st of March. Some examples. Passengers in Liverpool could visit London for as little as £7. A journey from Preston to Edinburgh could be as cheap as £8.40, and a ticket from Nottingham to Manchester could cost you less than a tenner. Consider it. Let the train take the strain, and let's get some vehicles off the road, shall we? Shall we crack on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, let's.
Indeed, nearly half of UK fleets have benefited from making the switch to electric vehicles, but challenges still remain, according to a new survey from Avens. The first survey of more than 250 decision makers across some of the largest fleets in the UK this year found that 47% of fleets have transitioned to EVs, and they report that it has positively impacted their business. It's a phone, mate! It's the phone!
Oh my God.
The research showed that almost half of fleets that have switched to EVs are more likely to invest in renewable energy also, as well as driver training and route planning to support their transition to net zero. Also highlighted were reduced costs, higher employee engagement and retention, and an improved brand image as some of the benefits that they've seen as part of a wider decarbonisation strategy. But EV fleets continue to face perceived barriers that could hinder their path to sustainability goals. Technology adoption difficulties were cited as the number one reason for concern, followed by supply chain issues, limited vehicle options, as well as charging infrastructure and unclear regulations. All sounds a bit overcomeable to me. Paul, what do you think?
It does, doesn't it? I'm glad that there's a report focusing on the benefits and nearly 50% of those surveyed. I don't think it's 50% of all fleets out there, because I think that is we're
right.
quite some way off of that. But what it shows is that the Avens here, the combination of ALD and LeasePlan, of course, are carrying the banner forward. LeasePlan have been on this journey for a long time, since 2016 when they were in the EV 100. So I was at that said company when that was what piqued my interest. So these guys have led the way for some time and are really kind of pushing that, and have got a lot of small businesses through their broker channels, but it's the larger businesses that do seem to be driving the change. It's good to focus on the benefits, and I think once people get in the vehicles, they really enjoy them, don't they? And that's that employee engagement bit is really great. It is a shame that there are still barriers, legislation and unclarity and things like that. But I think the more that we continue to promote the benefits, the better.
Yeah, I think Sam, go on. I can see that you're.
To Paul's point about some of the big fleets transitioning to EV, of course, BT have just confirmed 3,500 new vehicles, which will make them the largest fully EV fleet in the country. So obviously, it's a good indication that some of the big companies are making that switch, which is brilliant.
Absolutely. 8,000 vehicles will be on fleet over the next 2 years with BT. It's quite remarkable that they're really going for it.
I love... Oh, sorry. Let me just say, I love what this does, because what it means is that, the other fleets that are already ahead of them now might buy a few more and take that crowd. It's nice to think that they might be the biggest fleet, but will they? Maybe Royal Mail might add another 1,000 vehicles in 2025 and just be just that little bit further ahead. I wonder if they've gone a bit too early, to use Sam's point, just talk about what they're going to do rather than talk about what they've done.
No, if anything, it's quite late in terms of some of the stuff, that rhetoric that's been around for EV fleets in the past. I'm thinking of DPD in the old world, but DPD in the new world, they'll probably want to have a crack at that mantle as well, I would have thought, in the new world of their development. So we'll see. But it's a good sign, isn't it? All these big companies are making huge strides forward in electrification. So it's all good news. Let them compete.
Yes.
Brilliant. Bring it on.
Indeed, a fleet race.
Yeah.
Sarah, I want to come to you with some of the unexpected benefits of moving to EV. And it talks about almost half of the fleets that have switched to EV then go on to invest in renewable energy, as well as driver training, route planning. Of course, we work closely with Webfleet, who provide that route optimization software. It's really key, isn't it, that we don't just put EVs into a little group and says, oh, well, we've got some now, so that's all good. Actually, if you start to open up your mind, you can open up the benefits of just transitioning to a more sustainable way of operating.
Yeah, far from a box ticking exercise. And of course, thinking about what Europe Car offer fleets as well, which is a kind of trial before you buy situation. You can hire and rent rather than having to commit to long-term leases. I think that's really, really, really positive news. And actually, Paul, I was about to say before you spoke about the exact same thing, was I thought Royal Mail had the biggest fleet, thinking back to Carfest. But of course, Carfest was coming up 6 months ago. So at the moment, the rapid change is what we need to see, especially with so many negative headlines. Perhaps the EV Café should do top 10 fleet periodically and just keep everyone in the loop.
Royal Mail is the largest currently, so it still is, and those vehicles that they add in 2025 will go on to their number. Will BT or OpenReach be ahead of them? Be interesting. It's going to be a close run thing, I think. We'll have to put them head to head on a stage, maybe at the Commercial Vehicle Show. Let's see.
Golly, steady, boy, steady. Now then, let's do the shout out, shall we? Yes, let's.
So many.
Now, I just don't know what's been going on this morning. Seriously, 10 to 9 was our first smash through the door. 10 to 9. You lot
It's
been
a bit
having a
late.
lie in.
It's a bit, bit late.
Lazy.
Anyway, nonetheless, Carl Elliott, good effort, my friend. On the YouTube, impressive to see. Daryl Sharp, -4 with you, my friend in Telford. Ouchies! Economy Trucks, hello, my dear. Are you well? Belated Happy New Year, and indeed to you all. Wayne Dunn, what's he done? I've no idea. EV Musings, Gary Comerford, hello, darling. He beat in Scott Eady this morning, but it's not difficult because Scott's in Las Vegas. Craig Stark, good morning, and lovely to see the lightning bolt there. I was bragging about -7. Teresa Swift, only -5 in Kent. Jamie Fretwell, it's frosty, it's foggy. It's about to get a whole lot funner. You betcha, my friend. There we go. I did confess to having a furry cover on my legs. Is that too much? Too much?
I have one too. I have a lovely snuggly pink blanket. Yeah.
Goodness, I feel like an old age pensioner today. Oh, well done, Sam. I don't feel so bad now. Down with the kids. Good. Mark Elliott, nice to see you, my friend. Mark Main, you were really funny this week. Some of the truck comments, brilliant on LinkedIn. Evie Bino, Ron Godfrey, weather! Thank you.
There we are. Right. Found where we are now.
Ash Bannister, lovely to see you, my friend, as always. Michael Barton from Frosty Bristol. Marv, he's here from Chili Chester. Like what you did there. Liz Allen,
Chili
hello!
Chester.
Matthew Ling in Suffolk, and it's sunny as always. Yeah, right. Jennifer Smith, bonjour, and a good frosty morning to you all. Ilfie Show, dear lady, Ilfie Show. Rachel Lewis, hello, from Compleo. Ben, oh, that rhymes. I'm like Shakespeare. Isn't that good? Ben Crew, hello, mate. Kate Tyrrell, lovely to see you. Belinda Guy, thanks for being here as always. Stuart Humphrey, you're a regular, so thank you. Esther Jones from the
Esther
AA. We
Jones.
are not worthy. And look out. He's here.
It's here.
It's Peter.
Peter Heath, and he's got
nice
great teeth.
Rob Dustin, good morning from Paul. Leo Pickford, goodness gracious me. Who else we got in this? Ian Mayhew from semi-sunny Bournemouth. The EV Café has apparently had lots to say. Lots of temperature checks out there. No idea who that was. Lindsay Hetherington. Oh, hello.
Morning.
Sarah Kennel. The legend that is Sarah Kennel and her comments about Landman last week. They've made it onto TikTok. Oh, yes. We had to pick that one out. Leo Pickford, we've already said hello to. I am racing. Jim Blair from Arnold Clark. He's here. Are you iced in, my friend? Oh,
Bet he's
man, is
cold.
it cold. I'll bet he is freezing. And the wonder that is Carla. And I can't even go with Detru because it's not anymore. It's
Carla.
It's Detru IX from Volta. She's in the house. How lucky are we? She's got a Fleet face on, apparently. No idea what that means. Josh Edkins. Hello, mate. We mentioned Web Fleet earlier and we didn't even know you were here. There you go. James Hubbard. Top Gear style leaderboard would be fun. Ooh, for the top 10 fleets. Who's got the most? Who's got the biggest? Like that idea. Ian Mayhew, good morning. Goodness gracious me. Linda Grave. Oh, she always brings a smile to my little chubby chops. Listen, you lot. Thank you ever so much. We really genuinely appreciate it. You are outstanding. But seriously, do go tell a friend. Let's get people who have never seen this nonsense along on a Friday, 10 o'clock, or to pick it up on YouTube or LinkedIn Live as it's recorded, and you can watch it whenever you like. It's actually sometimes quite a laugh, especially when Sam and Paul get cracking. And I tell you what, that's coming. Trust me. Okay, shall we?
Can I just pick up on the comments? There's some great comments about the cool wall, but we could have an ice wall. See what I did there? And a hot wall. I don't know. Or a
Okay,
good one
moving
about
on.
EVs.
Moving on.
And yeah, moving on.
I'll tell you what we'll do. How about we make Sarah the custodian of the cool wall? A new
As the
into
Ice
it.
Queen.
The
Yes,
Ice Queen.
Sort of,
Yeah,
yes.
I like this. All right, let's see if we can find out who.
We're working on this.
So, top 10
Working title.
biggest biggest EV fleets in the United Kingdom right now. Who are they? Do let us know. We're going to have a cool wall, and it will appear on our website, and we'll keep it updated as changes happen. We're going to do this quite regularly. Let's see who has the biggest.
Can we have car, van, and car and van? 3.
No.
No,
of course we can.
just fleet. Just fleet. It's okay. We can just go with
What,
all
cars and
types.
vans?
I do
I
understand
know it
the
hurts
commercial
you, but
vehicle
yes.
thing, Paul. No. Right, let's move on.
Okay, we can work it out. They
We'll
don't care.
develop that
We'll
idea.
just do
I told
it.
You,
Yeah.
told you there'd be a fight. I knew there'd be a fight.
Let us know in
Now
the
we've-
comments. Let us
Yeah.
know in the
Oh.
comments, people.
now
You
we've-
Anyway,
control
moving
the
on.
comments. You'll just display the comment that suits your argument, Paul.
Yeah, he's good at that. Even then, he still loses.
10, 15.
I
3 more.
regularly lift everything up.
Okay.
Sorry, John.
You do, I
10,
know.
10, 15, 3 stories, 5 minutes each. Let's go. A poll of 1,000 Britons by Ian. Ian? Eon. No, Ian did
Thanks,
it.
Ian.
It wasn't
Cheers, Ian.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Eon has revealed that more than half do not feel able to switch to an electric vehicle due to a lack of public charging points in their local area, with the issue hitting rural residents most acutely. ZapMap recently confirmed that 19,600 new EV charging points were added across the UK during 2024, bringing the total to more than 73,400. However, the research found that despite this progress, large swathes of the population continue to face challenges accessing appropriate charging locally. Fewer than 10% of people living in rural areas say EV charging stations are readily available and expanding in their area. Almost 3/4 of the rural residents polled said that they are underserved by charging provision. In urban areas, people are nearly twice as satisfied with EV infrastructure near their homes, which is about 20%, compared to those in suburban or rural areas, 10%, that researchers found. Okay, let's have it. EV charging in rural locations. What have you found on your travels, people? Do tell us what it's like in the rurals. We've done the rurals, Sarah, haven't we? Often, and you do it every day. What's it really like?
Yeah, I'm afraid it is still quite bad. Destination charging is everything. And when you get there, even yesterday, my car park where I had to charge was frozen on the ground, which was very insulting considering it was the only charger for about 12 miles. So yet again, another example of how you rely on something. And then when you get there, it's not exactly what you had hoped for. And that's just human intervention. Something really simplistic like gritting that bit as well as the rest of it would have made a big difference to me. But I was so grateful they were there in the first place. And the same with all of the rural rallies, as you say, the EV rallies. We've all been very reliant on those AC chargers because the DCs just are not being rolled out fast enough in rural areas. The stats show it. However, if you are able to think about charging at home or charge when you get to where you're going and check before you go, then you'll be in less of a situation. But I myself, as you know, don't have a home charger right now. I've got a lease vehicle that isn't mine, so I can't check it on the app. And I've just gone out to see it. I'm not going to make it to where I need to go today. So I've got a rural journey to make today. Not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably have to divert by the motorway at some point to pick up a charge. Not great.
Just picking up on a comment, Belinda Guy, she says there's nothing where I live, and it reminded me, California. It's worth saying, my heart goes out to the people of California right now, the fires that are raging, left completely destitute, homeless. I don't know enough to be able to say climate change is having an impact. What I do know is that that's a desperate situation, and there is nothing where they live. So my heart goes out to those people. Rural charging. We speak as though it's a terrible thing. It puts it into perspective a little, I guess. But it is important as a country that it needs to get.
It's not terrible. It's just improving.
Yes. Yeah, it needs to be improved, though, quite significantly in certain areas. There are black spots. Where are those black spots? Where are the places where chargers fear to tread? Do let us know. Shall we crack on?
Well, John, can I just make a quick point on
Yes, please do.
this charging element, if I may? And that is to say that we must remember the commerciality of this as always. Right now, I'm privileged enough to work for the busiest network in the country and the highest, densest populations where people want to be, which is great. The reality is even that is commercially difficult. So we could put chargers in rural areas. Everybody could, but then we'd be charging £2 or £3 a kilowatt hour in order to make a recovery on the investment required to do so in those areas, and no one would come because it'd be too expensive. So there is a juxtaposition here where people are saying we need more chargers everywhere, but we've also got to get it in an affordable and commercially viable way for those people to use them. So there has to be this trade-off between the volume and demand that is there versus the installations that go in. So we're seeing huge swathes of infrastructure being installed in the busy places and less in the rural areas. But that kind of makes sense because there isn't the volume there yet in order to justify those points. So as Sass said, that we need more destination charging in those rural areas so people start to get on the EV journey. And then as more EVs in local areas develop, there'll be greater justification for the charge point operators to put more public charging in the adjacent villages and towns. But it can't happen at the same rate as everywhere else because the supply and demand simply isn't there.
Do you know what, Sam? What we need is a low-cost option. Maybe pavement charging. Let's move on. Joule, the leading innovator in swappable power banks and versatile charging solutions for commercial electric vehicles, today announced the appointment of Chantal Shearing as Vice President Product, effective immediately. So what, you might say? A seasoned automotive executive and engineer, Shearing has gained more than 25 years' experience in the industry, an early mover in the e-mobility sector, and has performed instrumental roles in shaping electrification strategies for global OEMs. Chill's new VP of Product will oversee the development of the business's cutting-edge swappable power bank and charging solutions for commercial electric vehicles, maximising enterprise fleet uptime and transforming their productivity, profitability and utilisation in the electric age. Chill overcomes grid and vehicle constraints with scalable modular solutions that allow fleets to basically control where they charge, and they focus on the hard-to-charge missions from commercial vehicles, electric vans, EHGV to blue light, motorsport, and interestingly, defence. Sam, it's always good to see businesses tackle the hard-to-do stuff whilst the rest of the world seek to basically cover the low-hanging fruit. What Chill's doing here is providing charging certainty, and for me, that's got to be a good thing.
It is, in so long as it's applied in the right places. And I think you just highlighted in your summary there some really good niches where it may well be a multitude of niches justify the commerciality of battery swapping. So long as it stays in those places where it is really of great use and operational use. What I wouldn't want to see is swappable batteries being proposed in passenger cars, because it'll just double all the batteries that we need, if not treble, and huge more cost, and it just doesn't work because there's no universality across the OEMs to facilitate such a solution. But in these sort of examples where there are, motorsport or military or whatever, where it has a really good use case and we can keep the battery sizes down maybe and have more repetition of a rotation of batteries, then yeah, sure. I just hope the use cases are good ones, practical ones.
Paul.
Sam, I think you've misunderstood the proposition here. It's not to swap the batteries in the vehicles. It's to put in a battery as a microgrid to trickle charge, and yeah, you can swap them out. It's a power bank, almost like the ones you have for your phone. Like this sort of thing. Like a little power bank where you plug in your thing. So the charger works by being dropped in. And trickle charged, and then you can deliver the power in a place that is difficult to do. So that's the proposition. There's some really good backers for this company, Perpetual. The word Joule comes from perpetual. Sarah and I learned this, and I've remembered it this morning. There you go. Because I was like, what sort of stupid name's that?
Why would you swap the power banks out there, not just trickle charge them in situ like people do now?
This is where charging is not possible. So you're able to take a power bank and deliver it to a site where potentially there is no charging facility. So it's a mobile charging proposition.
I see. So it's not swappable power banks in the vehicle. It's swappable power banks as a battery storage in the locations where there isn't energy.
Sir.
I understand that now.
Potential range extender for difficult spots. In niche
Just
use
listen
cases.
to the podcast, guys. We've got to move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point, Sass. Good point.
Yes.
Thank you,
Come on.
Sarah.
Let's go.
Before we do, Dev Chakravarti has put his charger on Co-Charger. He's not had any bites yet, but Co-Charger is a brilliant option. So if you don't have charging locally, go to Co-Charger, have a wee look, see if you can find somebody else who's got a charger who's prepared to let you have a crack. Right, okay, let's get into it. This is the bun fight. This is the one I always look forward to. The UK should follow the lead of the European Union and announce that it will match its commitment to at least one hydrogen filling station located every 120 miles on major roads, says Auto Express. Stop that laughing at the back, boy. The EU deadline to achieve that is 2031. Here in the UK, policymakers don't support any role for green hydrogen apart from using it to decarbonise heavy industrial processes like steelmaking. Auto Express said, and I think they must have been using AI, if nothing changes, we'll be watching enviously from the sidelines as firms from Germany and Asia roll out new generation hydrogen fuel cell powered vehicles in the coming years. The UK, they went on to say, the UK's exclusive focus on battery powered electric vehicles looks increasingly like tunnel vision. The closer we get to the deadlines, it ignores other low carbon technologies for road transport being pursued actively elsewhere, including bio and e-fuels. Other countries supporting alternative green road fuels alongside battery EVs have the benefit of eggs in more than one basket, and any technologies which could help to make the net zero transition smoother and more realistically achieved need to be actively supported. Who wants to go first?
It does smell of AI, doesn't it? A touch, the wording there, like some machine's written it. But yeah, I mean, it's just nonsense, isn't it? I mean, it's becoming increasingly now the understanding that hydrogen is not the solution for cars. It probably isn't for vans or trucks either. And actually, on the roads, it's not the viable solution in the future. It's just far too expensive. And the concept of having one filling station about 120 miles is trillions of pounds worth of investment. I don't think any country is looking to do that when there are no supply vehicles whatsoever to support that level of infrastructure. So it's absolute crazy. Just crazy.
And also, one every 120 miles is going to be nowhere near enough. If it's going to be such a limited use case because it's going to be on a route particularly. What I'm looking at in the van world is two large vans coming to market: the Movano hydrogen and also the Renault hydrogen. There may be others on the way as well, and we're going to test, aren't we? We're going to learn. We're going to actually learn from facts, and a lot of fleets are talking about having this. So there's a Ford hydrogen as well, Ford Transit. So the fleets are saying we want it. So there you go. You're going to have it, and you're going to be able to work it out for yourself, whether it's possible, whether it's viable, and whether it's whether it makes any kind of sense at all. But it doesn't.
I don't think the fleets are asking for it, if I'm honest, and also. This isn't new, right?
No, Sam, it's factual. They are asking for hydrogen because just because you don't think hydrogen's a solution, there's lots of other people out there that do think it is, and they're not right. I'm not suggesting they're right for a second, but they're asking for it.
The only people I'm referring to are some of the largest fleet managers in the country who are going EV. But what do I know? But it's far too expensive. It's not. And also the other point I was going to make was that. This technology the suggestion is let's try it now. We've been trying this for decades. This technology's been there for a very long time and it doesn't work on the road. It works in other places but not on the road.
I wonder, if we need to have a mature conversation about this, and I'm not suggesting you're not, but fighting amongst ourselves in the alternative fuel space actually misses the point. We've got a common cause, and that's to stop using fossil fuels, to stop burning stuff. And actually the market will decide. And whilst we pontificate, the reality is that there are all kinds of solutions out there, and who are we to say which will win, which won't? What we do know is that fossil fuels cannot win because they are causing more trouble than they are worth.
That's true. Well said.
And we've got and it's a timing issue, isn't it, John? We've got to provide solutions that can solve problems today, not technology which might work in 20 years' time. So that's one of the reasons why I'm against hydrogen. If it works, it works. If it's commercially viable, then brilliant. But it isn't, and it won't be for such a long time. even if it is the best technology in the world, we've got to have solutions that work now, and that undoubtedly is battery electric vehicle.
Got to be careful of our UK lens.
Just to prove
You've
I'm
got to
not-
think about it. Yeah, I know that. Well done, Paul, for being very balanced with your repeating of comments. Yeah, UK lens versus European lens versus global lens. We have to remember that there are all technologies. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and all of your comments, because we are here to accelerate the zero emission vehicles. That's the whole point of our existence. So I thank you, John, for bringing this news article. And I do think we do need to continue, as Leo Pickford calls it, hydrogen bingo. Even just this morning at 7:30, I waded into a hydrogen conversation. Liz Allen was there too. All good fun.
Quite right. And that's the thing we do best. We have some fun with it. If you have any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org, as many of you do. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from this bunch. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services are apparently available. But this is just funner! The EV Café is still truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Drax Electric Vehicles, Spiri, Allstar, Schneider Electric, Dynamon, EV Blocks and AW Energy, with the EV Café supporting the transition to zero emission transport. Enjoy your day, your weekend, wherever it takes you. Stay warm, stay well, stay safe. And we'll see you next Friday with a friend. Bye.
Blankies.
Hate to break it to you, Sam, but funner is a thing.
I know. People